Homura Hime is the latest spectacle action game, and while it might not quite fly to the moon like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, it is still a very satisfying and challenging game for people looking for some beating and upping to do. Homura Hime stars Homura Hime, the latest exorcist who has been trained to fight evil archdemons who are terrorizing the land. And we're on to explore and get into a lot of fights to possibly uncover the strange mystery that is going on. The gameplay is set up chapter format, again like Bayonetta. Each chapter you'll go to a new location, fight lots of enemies, and of course get into a big spectacle boss fight at the very end. Combat is kept relatively basic. You have a light attack, heavy attack, and you have skills that you can buy and acquire over the course of playing. The skills are charged by you hitting the enemy and performing parries. The game features two different defensive actions. You can dodge attacks and you can also parry. Dodging grants you a slight iframe and is used to avoid most attacks unless they are kind of colored a specific way, while your parry is specifically for red attacks, and parrying is kind of what the game wants you to do, as when you're fighting elite and boss class enemies, they will sometimes go into a very special state where the only way to break them out of it is to correctly parry all their attacks in a combo in order to set up for a punish. Now thankfully, the parry window in Homura Hime is very generous. This is definitely not going to be the same tight kind like in Sekiro. And you're going to be using this quite a lot. And since it charges up your skills, it allows you to get through combat far faster than just hitting enemies normally. The combo design follows in line with that of like Devil May Cry / Bayonetta, where it's a mixture of laying heavy attacks as well as delaying button presses to do different moves. I did have a little bit of trouble doing launchers into the air. You're supposed to hold down heavy in order to do it, and some combos will naturally get them in the air, but it did feel a little bit awkward, especially when you're trying to do things in mid-combo. As you go through the game, you'll be introduced to a variety of enemies, with the aforementioned elite fights becoming more common as you get into the middle and back half. The boss fights are all very well entertaining, with very unique patterns and some very weird designs as you get closer to the end. Now with that said, Homura Hime is also a very strange game in terms of its pacing. And without going too much into spoiler territory, you're going to be revisiting these levels in kind of a New Game Plus or hard variant after a certain point, and the story definitely raises a lot more questions than it answers. And I don't know if they're planning a sequel or DLC to maybe explain more of it at some point. Now for the actual difficulty of the game, if you have played any spectacle action game in the past like 15-20 years, then you should be very well suited to this one. While enemies do hit very hard, especially some of the nastier boss fights, one of the best like equipable items you can get allows you to gain health back on parry. And there's even an item that increases the parry window, making it even easier to do so. And one of the biggest tips I can give you is you really do want to get all your kind of skill slots filled as soon as possible. Because this is not a game where you draw from like a generic pool of magic to use your skills. It's just if the skills are equipped, they'll gain charge as you hit. And you can get some very fun shenanigans when you have all 4 skills ready and raring to go, and you just nuke the enemy group within the first 5 seconds of combat. While the combat is definitely great, one of my major complaints with Homura Hime is that it does start to get very repetitive. You're going to find that the game is going to long stop introducing new enemies, while there's still plenty more game to go. And the elite fights begin to drag things down as well. The first couple of times that you do the elite's kind of special minigame parry, it's fun. The 15th, 20th plus time, it becomes more and more annoying. And when the game starts throwing multiple elites into the same encounter, you have to do each individual minigame during that fight. And I would have liked it that maybe just do one for the fight to kind of take care of them both. I really would have liked to have seen a little bit more in terms of arena designs. Again, modeling itself after Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, most, or if not every arena, is just a flat square that you run and attack in. While the game does have some interesting platforming, and the platforming did feel nice to do. You'll be able to grapple around, do jumping, dashing, and there's a few sections where you'll be chased or put into a quote-unquote auto-scroller that you'll need to get through. And the game does a good job of breaking everything up, but I just wish that there was a little bit more to the combat to keep the player invested all the way to the end, which the final boss fight was admittedly very challenging. As kind of, I think it's like the first attempt by this studio to do a spectacle action game, it is very well done. I'm definitely interested to see what they'll do more in the future of the genre. And like I said at the very start, this is definitely a game made for and designed by fans of titles like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. So if you're in the mood to do a lot of hacking, slashing, and looking really cool hopefully while doing it, I would definitely give this one a play. And with that, Homura Hime was played with a press key. When I tickle your game for a future review, be sure to get in touch. And if you did play this one, I'm curious what you thought of it, especially going all the way to the end. Thanks for watching, and see everyone in our next review coming really soon. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.